Buenos días y ante todo disculpadme.
Good morning. I apologize because my voice is still damaged by a cold. You have discussed many different subjects, and my fellow panelists have done a great job. I want to take you to a different business activity, but very similar when it comes to managing purchases and the relationship between FM and purchases, which are two sides of the same coin in terms of value generation, because one is difficult to be managed without the other. For those who don't know us, Thales is a multinational company devoted to the design, development, and implementation of projects in securitization of critical infrastructures, and especially development of systems for decision making. We're a multinational company with 61,000 employees in the world, with strong investments in R&D, which ensures our present and our future. The structure of income we have has been changing, evolving. It is well balanced between the area of defense and the civil areas. As you can see, our business structure globally, we have the participation of the French state with 27%. Basically, the 5 markets in which we operate are aeronautics, space, land transport, defense, and security. These are in the infrastructures in which we help our clients. This is why I said that these are completely different business areas, but they are complementary to sustain our society. In Thales Spain, as a Spanish company, we are generating value and employment on the Spanish market. Last year, we closed with 350 million turnover, 1,200 employees, 11 centers, with the main responsibility in a Turkish center, and our activities are different from the global group in general, mainly working in land transportation and Spain, and not so much in defense and security. We're a center of reference in terms of railway signaling, space. Last year, we purchased 51% of the company Amper programs, which has become Thales programs, and we cooperate with SAES in submarine technology. When we talk about how purchases are organized, globally speaking, we have the so-called Model A, which is quite mature. We are talking about 6 billion euro in terms of global purchases, and this for all the countries, of course. And obviously, our first approach for purchasing, and this was mentioned by my colleagues, is savings generation. This is implicit in the function through negotiations or through optimization, but it is not the only part, because when it comes to purchases of general services, actually there is a time in which we reach zero. For us, it is fundamental to generate value through our clients. They are very demanding, and if our partners are good enough, we will not be able to deliver the value which is requested from us. And purchase is the department is in charge of bringing something from the outside, combine it with our internal skills, and deliver it outside again. We define purchases by families. We are 8 segments, including a series of families and categories, which is helpful in terms of reporting and negotiation. Why 8 segments? These are the categories of the purchases we carry out, from parts for satellites, electronics, cabling, and of course S1, segment 1, which is the service of overhead costs. Thales Spain is in charge of that. We have specialized purchasers, of course. Not everybody can buy or everything. And of course, there should be specialization in terms of knowledge of each one of the areas. As my colleague said, the internal procedures of the company are fundamental, not only because of compliance, we are quoted in CAT 40, but also because we must satisfy our commitments with shareholders, with our employees, with the governments. And we should be transparent because, after all, this is what we sell. We may have reliable products and services, but if we cannot demonstrate that when we are audited, we won't get anywhere. We have a lot of commitments with the United Nations, with the environment, due to the type of business we develop, and other commitments which often we don't even discuss in the purchasing family, like reducing our function or running costs. Purchasers should be how to be more efficient, how to deliver more value, and how to be cheaper to the whole structure in order to be much more efficient. This is a very strong strategy. That is, we want to grow to 20 billion turnover by 2020. We have 3 pillars: growth, competitiveness, and people. This also includes our Department of Purchases, and our purchases represent about 50% of our projects, the projects we deliver, and this involves each one of us since day one. When we consider how we manage FM, basically, we are an industrial company, and FM facility management in the group is under the real estate responsibility. And of course, I'm not going to tell you anything new in terms of facility management, which is the management of buildings and associated services, but under our strategy. We manage the future from the present. We are in touch with the board of directors, not just because of the expenses, but due to our image. And in the future, this will lead us to what Thales will be in society. All this is associated to a series of internal services in the organization, and our contribution is to help the organization to do its job efficiently. Of course, we have a director of facility, or a manager of facility management worldwide, and later on today he will make a presentation. Facility management and the Department of Real Estate, they have a double function, of course, adapted to each country and each business area. What is our situation in Spain? Of course, we're not as large as the rest of the countries where we are, and we include 3 areas: communication systems, real estate facility management, and general purchases. We do this because we believe that the services to occupants, well, the services are one type of service, and this is what I wanted to share with you. We are partners with facility managers, and we are very interested in efficiency when we examine procedure. Ultimately, at the end of the day, these are processes and guidelines. We want to reduce the time for the processes, communication. We want to be much more efficient because, as Joaquin said, at the end of the day, we need internal efficiency to achieve external efficiency, and we are convinced of this. We understand that this is where we contribute the highest value. We should not be in independent departments or units. We should all be together. Our alignment with processes is clear. Facility management has very well defined processes and obligations, but at the same time, the purchase department should know very well the needs and obligations we have, because we can only cooperate if we are partners. And of course, we cannot follow different directions. This is our objective. We work in this every day. I would lie if I said that we don't have problems because, well, of course, there are always a series of frictions, but we'll have a common market which is helping the whole organization. We have responsibility in terms of budget. Everything you do, risk management, whatever you do or don't do, is our own responsibility. Our responsibility is delivering the complete service in terms of time, shape, price, etc. Then we capture the needs of the internal client. We have a system. Our colleagues see that we give support to the organization, and therefore the management of IT, of FM, of purchases will use the same communication channel, which helps us control our KPI, our control expenses, and determine the trends of the organization. We have a network for communication with key users. Our internal clients have their representatives. We relate to them. They share their projects with them, and we tell them where we can provide value. And finally, we have joint responsibility in the evaluation and selection of suppliers jointly, because FM and purchase department should make a joint selection, because we have a joint responsibility. And for this, we start from the point that we have our processes and procedures established. We have our gates in the projects, and the first step is to express our need, not so much asking who is your supplier, what supplier would you prefer. It is just that the facility management department should tell us their objective and the need to cover, and based on that we can cooperate jointly. I want to present something which is very important for us, which is our relationship with our suppliers. It is limited to a series of interlocutors in order to have ultimately a single message. The suppliers and our partners should be familiar with that message. From the point of view of management and contracting, they should be informed about our relationship with the key suppliers. As you saw before, we have about 100 suppliers only in the area of real estate and FM. For the 20,000 square meters we have in Spain, of course, we have different models to be used for our relationships with them, and we need to evaluate our suppliers increasingly well, because we need to deliver a good service. We need to surprise the organization, and we cannot do that on our own. We have an increasingly high satisfaction level amongst our internal clients. Last year, we worked with external audits. Our auditors assessed our clients' needs not just through ticketing or through our key users or interlocutors. It is continuous feedback. So, if we ask our internal clients what they expect from us, if we don't have first-level suppliers, which is typical of a mature market, we will not be able to meet the demand. And we are stressing this more and more with our suppliers. The relationships with the suppliers are highly regulated, and also with through an internal procedure. We hold at least one strategic meeting per year in which we share our projects with them, our future in the next 2 or 3 years, depending on where we will be. And we do this with all our large suppliers in any of the purchase segments we have. Facility management should be there, because at the end of the day, the business needs offices, warehouses, logistics, employees, because, well, they have to work in premises, in offices, and when the strategy has to be implemented in Spain, when the leadership model that we all share in Thales, well, when we say that the managers should be more communicative, we should do it. When we say that we must promote communication, not only top-down and bottom-up, but in all directions, when we want to share our projects, when we have key ideas, they should be done in spaces that should be well managed, well taken care of, with rules, and especially creating spaces so that the actions carried out by communications and human resources departments, etc., are real. Facility management is important for us. A few years ago, Thales had a company shared with a partner, covering many employees in the world. The degree of maturity we have in this respect is very high, and we experience this internally. We are always wanted to grow, not just from the point of view of costs, but also in terms of the services we give to the organization. We also work with the human resources department in terms of policies, because we want to have ambassadors of Thales. Before I told you that we are not VIPs, we are people. Usually you don't see us, but we do exist. So this is what we want. We want our own employees to feel proud of where they work, and to this end, everything should be consistent. And then facility management has a major role to play. I'm not just dealing with safety and security, ultimately, and health. Well, I want to talk about models. This is a model that works in our organization. It works very well in Spain, where we are smaller than in other countries, but we don't have two different divisions, only one. Well, ultimately, we work to contribute to the efficiency of the business. And as Eva said, at the end of the day, we have our interlocutors to take care of. And personally, this is what I like most, and that I'm able to interrelate with all the parts of organizations, of the operational department, human resources, everything. And you feel you're in the middle and can help all of them in their work. And we have a big sense of belonging and contribution. The attitude is highly valued in my department, and I think that our relationships with our clients is something we're proud of. And of course, the purchase and FM departments are partners, two sides of the same coin. The purchase department does not purchase anything without counting on FM, and vice versa, because after all, they are two sides of the same coin. This is what I wanted to share with you. This is the model that we have in our company. Thank you very much.